Despite the fact that the continent is liberated from colonialism, there are doubts concerning the continent's economic liberation. How come, with all the natural resources that a continent is endowed with, is left behind in terms of development? Could it be bad leadership or misplaced priority? And is a Pan-African spirit that moved freedom fighters like Dr. Kwame Nkrumah to liberate the continent from colonialism still alive? These are some of the questions GBC 24 posed to Ghana's former Minister for Foreign Affairs and immediate past Secretary General of the Africa Caribbean Pacific Group, Alhaji Mohammed Mumuni, and a former member of the ECOWAS Parliament, Dr. Mustapha Ahmed.
You remember, in May 2013, when the Assembly of Heads of State and Heads of Government met in Addis Ababa to celebrate or to commemorate the 50th anniversary of the OAU/AU, they had the opportunity to actually reflect and take stock of how far the continent had come. And they took note of the successes and the failures, they took note of the challenges and the prospects, and they came out with a blueprint. They called it Agenda 2063, which was actually premised on these successes, failures, achievements, challenges and prospects. And it is really a framework. Agenda 2063 is a framework of Africa's development, how Africa can achieve integrated, purposeful, peaceful and prosperous status for us. Of course, they were looking at 50 years, but you have to take the first 10 years and then you add up.
We also had the sub-regional groupings coming up, and therefore the dream of having one united Africa was becoming more and more unattainable. And I think that the current status is very good. So the AU sits at the top, and then we have the sub-regional groups like ECOWAS, like the ECOWAS, like the East African, and then the North African Union, North African or the North of Sahara, the countries there, they also have their own union. And I believe that we also have SADC down south, and then we have the Central Africa. We have all these sub-regional groups that work up to the African Union. And therefore, if there's some issue that should be taken up by all the countries, it is appropriate that the AU initiates it, and then it trickles down to the sub-regional bodies, which will also in turn ensure that the various countries are in concurrence and then ratify whatever issue